In my newest video, I'm going to make this piece I call verdant. Verdant means lush green, full of life, like thriving plants and rich foliage. This piece has a sense of growing, just like spring. I used Iron Orchid Design molds and creative paper clay. It is a air dry clay that will kind of crack as it dries. It shrinks, so you'll get these cracks that just add to the old world charm that I like to have my pieces, have a sense of. And I'm going to use the cloche. I don't know, everyone says it differently. I'm really bad at pronunciating words. I'm going to use the cloche, maybe that's the right one, mold to create a vase. So I'm taking the bottom pedestal off of one and the top off of another, flipping the top upside down to create a urn or vase shape. And you'll see that I'm putting it together. It's super easy to work with the creative paper clay before it's dry. When it's still wet, it's very moldable. You can just use your fingers to kind of smooth out any edges that I cut off. You can also use a paintbrush with a little bit of water to smush it down if it's starting to get a little dry. Like if it starts to dry out just a little bit, you'll want to add a little bit of water to help smooth out those rough edges that you create when you are, cutting pieces off of your applique that you made from the Iron Orchid Designs molds. I'm also using the sparrow's nest mold. I'm taking the birds and the nest off. One of the nests. There's a couple different nests, and I chose this one. And I'm going to have it set on top of the vase or urn, whatever you want to call this thing. And I'm going to kind of give myself a little mark where the nest is going to sit, because I am going to remove that clay from the cloche applique just so it doesn't have, I want it to lay flat. I don't want it to look like it's got this huge bump, which it would have looked weird, I think. So we're just removing that clay so it can set up against it versus on top of it, if that makes any sense. And you're not even going to notice that I did this once it's all done, because we're going to hide that line with some flowers. I rearrange all of my flowers and I take a picture because I have to take it apart and put glue on it, and I want to make sure that I put it back together the way that I have it. And you can still make changes on the fly, as you need to, but I liked it the way it was, so I took a picture to remind myself of where everything went if I forgot. I like to use Type-On thick and quick glue. It's a glue you get at Home Depot or Lowe's. It's, readily available usually. If not, you can get it on Amazon. And I put glue over the entire piece, making sure that I get those edges. Those edges, when it dries, the clay shrinks and it will try to roll up on you. But if you get the quick and thick, put it on the edges, they won't roll up on you. You'll still have shrinkage and you'll still have cracks. But as long as that's the look you like, then that's great. If you don't like cracks, use DAS clay. It has less shrinkage, but I like creative paper clay. And here it is after it has formed kind of a crust. It's not fully dry, but it's formed a crust, and you can see that there's a crack here and there. But as long as it's got a crust on it, I can go ahead and paint it. So I painted the vase with cottage color plaster, but I did not paint the rest, the flowers, the nests, the birds. I left those because I wanted to create like a watercolor paint look with DIY paints making powders. Making powders are pretty awesome. They're a pigment and you can use them to change the color of your paints, or you can just add water to them and paint with them. So they're like a little watercolor at that point. And over the air dry clay, it kind of creates this cool effect because they're translucent. So you can still see the whites of the clay through them. So it kind of creates natural highlights when you do this. And the using the water makes the pigment sink into the cracks. So you end up with darker and lighter points with no effort at all. I added Iron Orchid Designs trimming mold to the edge of the frame and painted it black and gold. What do you think? Are you going to give this a try?